Hello, welcome to Pyramid Knits. My name is Liz. I am a knitter and a natural dyer based just outside of Taos, New Mexico in the southwestern United States. I am coming to you today from my festive living room. It is also currently snowing big fat snowflakes out the window. I'm hoping the lighting is going to work on this. It looked all right when I checked it, but it's getting darker by the minute. And there's a big dog who's trying to knock over the camera with his big booty. And there's another dog, and there's a cat. There's a lot of animals here. If you've been here before, you'll know that. Yeah, I'm outnumbered 4-to-1 in this house. 2 dogs and 2 cats. And they often make an appearance. I also have very limited battery life left on my phone, but I want to get this done before the sun goes down. So we're just going to see how this goes, and I'm going to try and talk fast. So it's pre-Christmas. It's like 2 weeks until Christmas. I have my festive yoke jumper pullover finished from Skein Knits as a designer. I talked about this last time. So much fun. It is finished. I'm mostly happy with it. I feel like it's a little bit oversized, honestly, and that's totally on me, just like not picking the right size. I'm still learning about fit and how to alter things for my body and how that changes depending on the style of sweater that you're making or the style of garment that you're making. I think I just picked like a size too large, and the shoulders and the upper arms just seem quite baggy. I actually knit one of these sleeves almost all the way through, and it was just way too big, and I had to rip the whole thing out, and I ended up doubling the rate of decreases going down the sleeve to make it really kind of fit my arm. And yeah, I realize now, because this pattern came out last Christmas season, and I cast it on at that point, but there was not, the designer had not finished her sample yet. There were sample projects up on Ravelry, but not her particular version. Anyway, she published her pictures for it not too long ago now, this Christmas season, whenever she finally finished hers and was able to take pictures. And whenever I saw her pictures, I was like, oh my gosh, she's wearing that with like 0 to negative ease. Like she was styling it very much, very much as like a sort of vintage cropped Christmas sweater. Whereas I had been imagining it more of an oversized comfy Christmas sweater. So I think that's just totally on me for not understanding the ease recommended in the pattern, which therefore made me not understand that if I wanted to add ease to the body, which I didn't really realize that I was doing, that I would need to mitigate that on the arms, because I don't need the sleeves to grow as much as the body if I want to add ease. So I was actually watching this weekend's episode, like this past weekend's episode of I'll Knit If I Want To from Andrea Mowry. And she did this episode with her tech editor, and they were both answering kind of technical questions, which was really interesting. And Andrea was talking about how she likes to fit different styles of sweaters, and that yoke sweaters, she likes 0 or negative ease, and like a drop shoulder sweater, she'll want more ease. And like in that moment, I was like, I wish that I would have seen this before I cast this on, because like, that makes the light bulb went off, the key clicked. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so that's a learning curve for me. Next time I do a yoke sweater, I will size down and think about doing some maybe additional alterations depending on the pattern, like doing short row shaping for the bust, for instance, to be able to fit it better at my shoulders, and not have to have that extra fabric in the shoulders too. I can just add the extra fabric to the bust area, and that would probably help a lot. So I'm gonna have to think about doing that next time. I would not have done that for this though, because it is all over color work, and trying to insert a little wedge of fabric across the bust in this continuous pattern wouldn't have worked anyway. So whatever, it is super cozy and super comfy. It's my cozy Christmas sweater. It feels a lot better. I'm wearing a long sleeve collared shirt under it. And it feels like it fits more properly because I'm wearing a garment underneath it now. I wore this out the other day to our like community Christmas festival. There's like fires out in the street, all the shops stay open, and there's performance artists, and I got a free bowl of green chili stew and a tamale. It was great. Anyway, and this sweater kept me very warm walking around outside at night. But yeah, whenever I wore that the other day, I didn't have a shirt on underneath. I just had like a tank top or something. And it did just feel a little bit like I was swimming. So this might just be my solution for this sweater, is just to wear a collared shirt underneath it, which frankly looks classy and Christmassy, right? It looks like I tried. I don't often try. Oh, that snow is really coming down out there. My dog is very upset about it because he is a Doberman mix, and he has very short fur and very long skinny legs, and he gets cold very easily. So he gets very disappointed whenever it gets cloudy and snowy, and he likes to express his frustration at the weather at me. Right on cue. That was amazing, Sakya. I know you're so upset. He looks so sad. Like, I just want to go and play outside, but it's snowing. Oh, poor puppy. Okay. Christmas sweater is done. I'm wearing this to my work holiday party on Friday as well. I'm looking forward to that because it is going to be very, very cold this week here. It's been quite mild for the last, I don't know, week or two. It's been in like the mid 40s to low 50s even during the day. And we even had a few nights where we didn't get down to freezing, which is pretty unusual. But this storm rolled in just like a half an hour ago, and it is dumping snow. The temperatures are dropping, and it is a cold, cold front behind it. So for the next like foreseeable future, as far as the forecast goes out, we're not going to get above like 33 or 34 degrees, like at all. And the lows at night, there was one day where the low is 4. That's 4 Fahrenheit, y'all. 4 Fahrenheit Celsius. That's cold. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna cozy up in this jumper for the Christmas holidays, and it's gonna be great. I also have a couple of other FOs, but I don't have them with me anymore. They have already gone on to their recipients, and I was really bad about taking pictures because that's just how I roll, apparently. So I'm really glad to have them off the needles and out of the house. I do have a couple of pictures of the scarf, which I'll show you here. It was a linen stitch scarf made from my own naturally dyed yarns. It was a commission knit. It has gone on to its recipient, and they are very happy with the result. So yay. The other one I did was the October hat, which is a really, really fun cabled hat I showed y'all last time, that I was also knitting out of my own naturally dyed yarns. And it finished up. I have gifted it. I really want to make one for myself because it was just so squishy. But I have too many other projects on the go and in the queue. So no more impulse casting on for me for a while. Hold me to that, please. So yeah, that concludes the finished object portion of this program. Whoops. Sorry about that. Yeah, so now we can talk about whips. The first whip I want to show you, which if you've been around for a little while, you will have seen this. I started this back in the spring. but it ended up being put into the naughty corner for a little while. But I just pulled it back out yesterday in the hopes of finishing it for this storm, which of course that did not happen because I had 2 sleeves to knit. Ooh, a few flyaways there. Yes, this is the FELIX pullover by Amy CHRISTOFFERS. And I am knitting it out of Plötulopi, which is Icelandic unspun yarn. It is very rustic. It is very warm. It is very light. It's perfect for going out and walking in the snow or in the cold and the wind in Icelandic type climates, which I'm starting to believe more and more I already live in. The more I look out my window, the more I look at my forecast, I'm like, I do live in a very cold place, don't I? Yeah, so basically what happened with this was I finished the body, I started knitting the sleeve, I knit half the sleeve, and then I realized I had not switched my needles back out from the ribbing size needle at the bottom of the body before I picked up the sleeve. So I was knitting on 2 whole needle sizes smaller. I was supposed to be knitting on a US 10, I was knitting on a US 8, so it was very, very noticeable once I noticed it. The gauge was totally different. It was definitely much denser. You could see the whole sleeve, like, so I had to rip that out, and then I kind of put it in the naughty corner because it was summertime and this was Plötulopi. So having just finished my Christmas sweater, and with the storm coming, I was like, I'm gonna pull this back out, and maybe by some miracle of miracles, I will have it done in time for the snow. Of course I did not. But I'm like almost done with the sleeve. I just picked this up yesterday morning. I worked on an online knit group for, oh gosh, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. And I think I knit on it maybe a little bit watching TV, like watching a podcast or something. And then I knit on it during my Zoom meeting with work today, which was also about an hour and a half. So, I mean, I've knit this whole sleeve in probably like 3.5, 4 hours, which ain't too bad, you know? I mean, it's getting pretty close to being at length. So I'll need to do a try on here pretty soon and make sure I am still doing good on my sleeve circumference and decide where I want to put in the cuff. And then the other sleeve, I mean, by that logic, it would really only take me 2 days if I tried. The thing is, after the snow, it's going to be super sunny the rest of the week. So it'll probably be too hot to wear that anyway. That's really reserved for like, I'm going snowshoeing and it's cloudy outside kind of days. It's going to be some rough outerwear, this one. And the color, I don't know if it's going to show up on this because it's getting really dim in here, but it's such a cool color. It looks black from a distance, but it has all of these reds and yellows and blues mixed in. I believe the colorway is called Galaxy. Just from what I've heard from other people, whenever I bought it, there wasn't any colorway name attached to it, so I don't know. Other whips. These were my impulse cast on last time around. And now the cat's crying to go outside. He doesn't want to go outside, it's snowing. Anyway, I impulse cast on these mitts. And I am also knitting them out of my own naturally dyed yarn. I just went stash diving for this. This is a Kate Davies pattern called the Starkin Mitts, and it's part of her All Over Club, which is like a colorwork club that I've been a part of this winter. And that's how far I've gotten. I have lots and lots and lots of ends to weave in on this. And there's no thumb hole yet, but there will be. There's a little spot here for an afterthought thumb. So my thumb will pop through soon. I figured I'd go ahead and knit the second mitt and then do both of the thumbs at the same time. Yeah, so this knit up so quickly. It was just so addictive. super, super fun to knit. Really enjoyed it. Even the little fingers were like not that annoying. I mean, they were fiddly for sure, but they went really quickly. Conan, you gotta stop, man. Basically, I took some breaks from work over a couple of days. And I mean, they took probably 15 minutes a piece to knit up the whole thing. So I've got one more to go on that. However, Christmas is now 2 weeks away, and I have another pair of mitts that I don't think I've ever shown on here. I started these back in the spring for my friend who I went to stay with in Washington, D.C., and I crashed at her place, and I totally just like invited myself over and was like, can I just come visit you and you can show me around and I can sleep on your floor? And she said, yes, of course. So I decided to make her some mitts, but of course I didn't finish them in time to give them to her while I was there. So I need to finish them now and send them to her for Christmas. So these are the Wood's Edge mitts by ALICIA PLUMMER. This is a really dark color. So again, with this dim lighting, I don't know how well this is showing up because there's cables and things. And it's got this nice garter stitch on the hand, which makes it nice and squishy. I do still need to knit the thumb on this side, and I haven't done the other one at all. So yeah. So I actually knit I knit this while I was at her house. So I did this whole thing in 3 days. So I have 2 weeks. So I should be able to just do the other one if I ever cast it on. And it should knit up quickly, and I should be able to finish it in a couple of days. I have knit this pattern once before, which was also for a gift knit. So I do know that it knits up really quickly. It's got a real quick cable pattern. So you kind of just say, oh, just one more row, just one more row. You know, let me just like get to the end of this V. And then by then you're like, well, I'll just get to the end of the next one and then you're done. So I need to get these going again. And the yarn I am using for these is very nice special yarn. It is Farmer's Daughter's Fibres. I don't remember the colorway name or the type of yarn, and I don't have the tag either. Wow, sorry. It's this really nice deep purple and my hair's all over it. I'll try and figure that out and put it down below. But I got this last winter in a little yarn swap. We did a little Beat the Blues January yarn swap with the Heather and Hops Discord group last winter, and I got sent the Farmer's Daughter Fibres. It was 50 gram skein, which is just perfect for these mitts. And purple's not like my super color, my super favorite color. So this is perfect to be able to gift it on. Yeah, so the only other knitting whip I have to show you is my Zoom socks, and they're just getting longer. This yarn is from NERVUS Fibre, who's a dyer out of Glasgow, Scotland. The colorway is called Nautilus. It's a sock set. And I have decided to do just plain vanilla socks. I'm gonna do an afterthought heel. So I am not gonna think about anything, and I'm just gonna knit to my little heart's content until this thing either runs out of yarn or is about 28 inches long, which I figure is about how much I'll need for 2 feet and 2 legs. And then I will just knit the cuff on the other end probably. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Knit a cuff or a toe on the other end and then cut it in half, do my other cuff or other toe, and then add in the heels, which I am not great about adding in afterthought heels and doing those kind of fiddly work things. Stuff usually ends up in a basket for a long time when I do that. But I just kind of wanted to, I think it was also Andrea Mowry's I'll Knit If I Want To a few weeks ago that I was watching, and she said the reason that she likes to do afterthought heels is because you can just take the heel out and re-knit the thing if it wears a hole in it. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much flippin' sense. because you literally are just going to rip out the entire heel and then you'll have your live stitches there again from the foot and you just have to reknit the thing. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So I'm going back, I'm going to try the Afterthought heel again. In the past, I haven't loved the way that it looks and have felt that like it fits a little bit weird. But I'm going to try it this time with a few extra rows without decreases to just kind of like establish the heel. And then I might try a different kind of decrease that I just like the look of better. I don't know. I'll decide that when I get to it. Yeah, so that's legit like all of my knitting, I think. I worked on my porty pullover a little bit, but it's just like a little stockinette on the sleeve, so I'm not even going to bother to show you, even though I bothered to show you that sock, so whatever. I do have a couple other crafts I've been working on, which are Christmas themed or Christmas gifts. Christmas themed, I put a little bit more work into my Christmas cross stitch. I added in these leaves over here, and oh, I started doing this bauble down here, and I think I did these trees up here, and maybe these trees over here since last time. So I added a little bit, not too much, not enough that it's probably gonna get done this Christmas. And I'm also out of the white thread, so I still need to pick up some white DMC thread. But I can do that whenever I go to buy the backing for my quilt fabric, which is underway, you guys. So last time, I have never made a quilt before. This is the disclaimer. This is my first quilt ever. I'm just jumping in. I did pick a pattern with big pieces, so I figured it would be easier. Last time I had all of my half square triangles made up into squares, and I had a big stack of them. This time, so this is a little bit misleading. Sorry, the cat's meowing. A little bit misleading that these are sewed together. These are my first 2 full strips sewn together. The only problem is I sewed these together along the wrong edge. Whoops. So I need to rip these apart and sew them on the other side of each other. But, you know, I figured I would show you, like, it's becoming a large piece of fabric. It's starting to be a large piece of fabric. I have all of the long strips sewn together. So now I just have to sew all those strips to each other to make the quilt top. So hopefully that will go relatively quickly and smoothly now that I figured out that you can sew it to the wrong side. And yeah, then I have to get batting and I have to get backing fabric. So given the proximity to Christmas, I have a sneaking suspicion I'm gonna need to make a little trip down to Santa Fe to go to Joann to get some batting and backing fabric, because that's going to be the most affordable way that I can find to do it, and it's too late to have it shipped and then also try to finish it. Yeah, so I'm not sure when I'm going to do that. Maybe Sunday this weekend or maybe early next week. I mean, it'll have to be. It'll really have to be. And then I have to try and assemble the frickin' thing. Oh my God. Animals are like going crazy because it's snowing outside. Worst case scenario, and I did this with my dad a few years ago, I knit him a sweater for Christmas. Sorry, my cat is laying down in my cross-stitch basket on top of paper. So it's crinkling. But she found a basket, so good for her. A couple years ago, I made a sweater for my dad for Christmas. And it was not done in time for Christmas. So I wrapped it up for him on the needles. And I was like, it'll be done in a couple weeks. Sorry. So if I have to do that with a quilt, so be it. But it sure would be cool if it was like actually done by Christmas. I have a feeling it's going to be like sandwiched by Christmas, but it might not be quilted and bound by Christmas, like by Christmas Day. I'm flopping my dog's ears, sorry. Hi, buddy. Oh, yeah. So I have that yet to do. I have those mitts yet to do. And I also still have the storm hood from Albiona McLaughlin to cast on. I have yarn for it. I just have to get around to doing it. And I've just been more interested in my own projects, frankly. Probably because I just did a commission knit and a gift knit and like got those out the house. Now I'm like, I don't want to do another gift knit, another gift knit. I want to knit something for myself. And also, of course, as soon as I cast off the sweater, I'm like, oh, what sweater am I going to make next? And it's like, Liz, you have 2 sweaters on the needles right now that aren't finished. Like, finish those first before. At least finish one of them first before you go picking something else. Anyway, I think that's all my whips. I just wanted to pop in more frequently. And hopefully this will just be like a half hour or something. It feels like it probably will be. And yeah, it's getting dim now. It's after 4 o'clock, and the sun will be fully down by 5. So I'm going to contemplate making a fire in my wood stove tonight. We'll see how it's feeling in here. My house is passive solar, so I have either the sun or my wood stove for heat. And we did get a good bit of sun earlier in the day, so I think I might be all right. So the whole thing with the passive solar is I have these huge windows. I like live in a greenhouse essentially. And the sun comes in and I have concrete floors and it heats up the concrete on the floor. And then overnight that heat gently releases as the floors are cooling down. It keeps the house warm. It totally works. It's great. But if there's no sun, the floors don't heat up and, you know, it'll be comfortable during the day because the sun's out, but come nighttime, there's none of that residual heat coming off. So I might need to make a fire, which there are worse things than having to sit by the fire and knit and like make a stew. I'm going to make a chili tonight. Actually, I'm going to make a white chicken chili with New Mexico green chili. Oh, it's going to be good. Perfect meal for a snowy day. Yeah, whenever I just looked out and like a big thing of snow just fell off of one of the trees. It's coming down good. Yeah, I don't know. They said we were going to get an inch, but they also said it's supposed to snow until like midnight. And there's already an inch out there, like easy. And it's been snowing for 45 minutes. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. I hope that you're all staying cozy and warm, and enjoying holiday times and family times and friend times and pet times and craft times. Thank you so much for joining me for a little craft and chat, and I hope I'll see you guys next time. Bye.